Hi, my name is Chi Din, and for those of you who don't know me, I am an international personal and professional coach with Chi Din Inc. I'm the broker associate and founder with Avignon Realty, and today I am doing training for third-party financing addendum, and this is going to be an overview. Uh, First of all, before we get right into the third-party financing addendum, want to recommend to you that when you are new, a new agent, or you have been out of this the conversation for a while and you're rusty. I recommend that you read over the third party financing addendum 3 times, look up words that you're not familiar with, and reach out to your mentor or broker for questions. And wherever that you're not clear, get that clear for yourself. Now, we're going to get right into it. So here is the promulgated by the Texas Real Estate Commission track third-party financing addendum. And this is really straightforward. To contract concerning the property at, fill in the address, the property address and city. Then now we have paragraph 1, type of financing and duty to apply and obtain approval. And this is, the buyer shall apply promptly for all financing described below and make every reasonable effort to obtain approval for the financing, including but not limited to furnishing all information and documents required by buyer's lender. And you see here, there's conventional financing, then there's Texas Veterans Loan, Federal Housing Administration Insured Financing, VA Veteran Affairs Guarantee Financing. Then there's the United States Department of Agriculture Guarantee Financing. Last, reverse mortgage financing. And the most common type of financing that are available and to buyer that most buyer may end up with is conventional financing. And you see here, there's number 1 and 2. First is a first mortgage loan and the principal amount of, and this is the amount of loan that the buyer would be financing, excluding any finance private mortgage insurance premium due in full in X amount of years with interest not to exceed X amount percent per annum for the first number of years need to go here. The loan with originating charges as showing on buyer's loan estimate for the loan not to exceed X amount of percentage of the loan. And as a buyer's agent, you would need to work with the buyer's loan officer to get this information. And I highly recommend, especially when you're working with a buyer, that you get the buyer approved for financing before you take them and show them properties. So this information would be, you would have this information. If they're getting a second mortgage, you want to complete this. And then if they're and if they're getting a Texas Veterans loan, that information would go here. A Federal Housing Administration assure financing, their loan information would go here. Same thing for Veteran Affairs Guarantee Financing. That information would go here. Then we have the United States Department of Agriculture Guarantee Financing. If the buyer qualify for that, the loan information will need to go here. Last is reverse mortgage financing. And a reverse mortgage loan is also known for the home equity conversion mortgage loan. And that information will go here. And then second paragraph is approval of financing. If you look at this, there's 2. This is like the buyer would need to get approval financing, and also the property needs to be approved. An approval for financing described above will be deemed to have been obtained by buyer approval and property approval are obtained. And time is of the essence for this paragraph in strict compliance with the time for performance. And you notice that right here, this number of days needs to be negotiated, which is give the buyer the time to go and get approval for financing. and that's negotiated the number of days. And then if the buyer don't need financing, then this contract is not subject to buyer obtaining buyer approval. And that could be checked right here. Of course, the property, if the buyer is approved for financing, the property also needs to be approved. And the buyer's lender determines that the property does not satisfy lender's underwriting requirements for the loan, then the buyer can terminate the contract by giving notice. Really, for this paragraph number 2, what you want to get from that is like there's the buyer being approved for a loan, and then the property needs to also be approved by the lender. Paragraph 3, a security. So each note is a mortgage for the financing described above must be secured by vendors and deed of trust liens. Then there's paragraph 4, FHA/VA required provision. If the financing described above involves FHA insured or VA financing, it is expressly agreed that notwithstanding any other provision of this contract, the buyer shall not be obligated to complete the purchase of the property described herein or to incur any penalty by forfeiture of earnest money deposits or otherwise the buyer has been given in accordance with HUD, FHA, or VA requirements a written statement issued by the Federal Housing Commissioner, Department of Veterans Affairs, or a direct endorsement lender setting forth the appraised value of the property of not less than this amount here, or if the contract purchase price or cost exceeds the reasonable value of the property established by the Department of Veterans Affairs, the 3-day notice of termination requirements, and 2B does not apply to this paragraph 4. Then you have A, B, and C. So A, the buyer shall have the privilege and option of proceeding with consummation of the contract without regard to the amount of the appraised valuation or the reasonable value established by the Department of Veterans Affairs. Then you have B and C. So if FHA finance involved, this will happen. If VA financing is involved, this will happen. Okay. So that just an overview of paragraph 4. And then you have paragraph number 5, which is authorization to release information. This is really very straightforward. Buyer authorizes buyer's lender to furnish to seller, her buyer, or their representatives information relating to the status of the approval for financing. And then seller and buyer authorize buyer's lender's title company and escrow agent to disclose and furnish a copy of the closing disclosures and settlement statements provided in relation to the closing of the sale to the parties' respective brokers and sales agent provided under broker information, right? So that's the authorization to release information. Buyer, we need to sign here, and seller, we need to sign here. I would say again is, and that is the overview of the third-party financing addendum. And really what you need to know here is that, the buyer needs to get approved, and then the property needs to be approved, and then there's requirement for FHA and VA. Thank you so much for being part of the third-party financing overview training. And if you have any questions, I recommend that you work with your mentor and broker. So thank you.